We're just south of the Big Apple today at the Red Bull Arena. Jill Ellis and the American World Cup winning soccer team seeking revenge on a France team who beat them 3-0 on US soil a year ago in the SheBelieves Cup. Welcome to ESPN's coverage of the US women's national team. We're coming to you live from Red Bull Arena in Harrison, New Jersey for leg 2 of the 2018 SheBelieves Cup as the US host France. Ian Darke here alongside American great Julie Foudy. Now, what can we expect from the US after the storm surge in Columbus, Ohio?
Well, you're going to see a team that's very happy. There's no wet weather. It's still cold, and they're going to play against a more experienced French team. In the first game, we saw France just get destroyed by England 4-1. But this is a team today that I think is a different 8 changes, so very different French team.
Yeah, the US might be made to work for it in our Continental Analyst Corner. Let's look back on that US win over Germany in the first game.
And this was one of those games with all this weather that you needed a goal like this to get it going. Alex Morgan finds a wide open Megan Rapinoe. Germany doesn't cover for that one. And that's all really the United States needed in the swirling, sleeting snow was a Megan Rapinoe goal. And they get away with the 3 points, and a critical 3 points. And the other game that happened in the first SheBelieves match, that was England versus France. And really, France just dismantled by this English team. The back line for France all over the place, very disjointed. Jill Scott here with the second goal for England. And you can see Mbati getting beaten on the back line. And then again, a 4th goal for England, and really a disappointment for France. The only bright spot was when Tine came in, one of their veteran players who played in the European Championships, 77th minute. She's able to get one back, which may make a difference with goal differential. She will be starting today for France.
There's the table as it reads. Early days, of course, 2 games to play for each team. England are on top on goal difference at the moment. That could change today. The United States in second, Germany and then France. And of course, in the other game today, England will face Germany after this first game between England and France. Well, the teams are on their way. Should be a good game between 2 classy sides here. And when we come back, we'll have the lineups for you. Much better conditions for this USA-France game than the other night in Columbus, Ohio. It really was a case of gone with the wind here. The ball seemed to have a mind of its own, Julie.
That was craziness. Just to give you a little bit of sense, look at that one. You didn't even need to stop it as a defender. It just stopped on its own. And then Alyssa Nair trying to clear ball, and the wind was like, nope, you're not going to clear that one.
Watch this. The ball wants to go in that net. And then the problems continue the next day. The teams had to get here, and so did we somehow. The flights were off because of Storm Riley, so we had to drive. We thought, nice little 8-hour drive. Hit the Poconos. Look at this. Snow. We were on that spot. I tell you, there I am for 13 hours. And my producer, Todd Kulis, who was with me, did a James Bond style piece of driving through the snowdrifts, and we finally got up, because otherwise I think we'd have still been there.
Dear me, I'm sorry. I got on the charter plane.
Yeah, you got the last seat with the team, didn't you? Mind you, that was a bit of a hairy landing, wasn't it? Let's have a look at the US lineup today. 2 changes. Carly Lloyd and Julie Ertz, who's got a bit of an injury at the moment, are out. Morgan Bryan gets her first start for a year, and Andy Sullivan is in there as well.
Yeah, same front line, same back line, but Ertz is still, I almost called her Johnston, her married name Ertz, still nursing a bit of a knee issue, and so Andy Sullivan getting the start.
Don't tell Zach about that little slip of the tongue. There's Jill Ellis, of course, building towards the next World Cup, 15 months away now. As for France, well, they've really wielded the axe after their pathetic display against England. 8 changes, only Henry, Mbok and Le Sommer keep their places. They've got their #1 goalkeeper in there as well, Bouhardi as well, and Tine gets the first start since the Euros.
And Tine, number 12 in the middle there, is a player to watch. She's the one who got the goal against England, and Le Sommer, also a great fun player to watch as well.
Corinne Diacre, the coach, interesting story. She was the first woman to take charge of a men's professional team, Clermont Foot, in the French second division before she had this job. She's very angry about the performance the other day as well. Has gone public with it as well. Angry, unacceptable, ashamed by the display, not acceptable. So what reaction will she get here?
Strong words. And put into the press, into print.
Yeah, she threw the players under the bus, basically, didn't she? That can work sometimes. Other times the players don't like it.
I never think it's a good idea myself.
She could have had a quiet word. Let's see whether France are a stiffer proposition. They defended very, very badly. The US, if they're in that form, might get a stack of goals against them. In history, France have only had 2 wins in 21 meetings. But one of those was a year ago in this SheBelieves Cup, 3-0, which is the biggest US defeat in the last decade. Here's Megan Rapinoe finding her way through a couple of challenges, getting the better of Gayoro in the midfield. Alex Morgan wide to Rapinoe, whose goal won the match against Germany the other night, despite all the high winds and freezing conditions. Is Tine back in favour now? Gayoro looking to thread that through towards Gauvin. Always like games in this arena, but it hasn't been a lucky arena really for the US in recent times, men or women. The US were beaten 1-0 by England in this tournament last year, and of course the horrific US men's defeat so costly against Costa Rica here. Davidson with a lovely measured crossfield ball to find the other teenager in the team, Mallory Pugh. Too near the goalkeeper, not a problem.
One 19-year-old to the other 19-year-old, and that's the beauty of Davidson in that center back position, which Jill Ellis really likes, is she can send that 60-yard ball and play make and set play from that center back position.
Towards Gauvin, but Tiana Davidson won the ball. That's bounced rather fortuitously for the French team. Abby Dahl-Kemper got it away, now more or less a fixture in that defence, even though she's still won under 20 caps. The goalkeeper Bouhadi has come out to win that one, playing the sweeper-keeper role by the look of it. She is the number 1, the established goalkeeper. It's her 128th cap here, 14 years. That ought to stiffen things up a bit at the back for France.
Going back to that series history, a little bit deceptive, because really since 2014 the US has only won 3 of the 6 games against France, lost 2 of them, and they've actually been outscored by France 7-6, which I thought was fascinating. You don't find that too often in your stats.
It's Dahl-Kemper up towards Alex Morgan, whose goal scoring streak was stopped the other night. Captaining the side today with no Carly Lloyd in the lineup. That might be a little bit of a disappointment for the fans that Carly Lloyd isn't in the team with 2 goals away and hoping to get those, the 2 she needs in her home state.
Yeah, Morgan Bryan getting that captain's armband because Becky Sauerbrunn, of course, is also out still with her stress reaction in her foot. Some lingering injuries for the United States. Rose Lavelle still out, and there is Carly.
She never has scored in her home state of New Jersey. Curious on that. Was that a foul? Le Sommer didn't think she'd committed any offense, but the referee did. And the referee, by the way, today is from Mexico, Lucila Venegas.
This is going to be a great matchup on that left side. Dahl-Kemper trying to come over and cover. But Le Sommer, a player with pace who loves to get in behind, loves to combine.
Might almost be a 3-5-2 today for the USA, the way Sullivan is dropping back and then the 2 central defenders spreading out and the 2 fullbacks pushing very, very high. Back 3 never really worked for the US in this tournament a year ago, did it?
That was a phase that did not work well. But I think the other thing Jill Ellis has talked about is that one of the areas she wanted to improve upon from the first game against Germany is those outside backs. And mind you, the weather didn't permit for much play in Columbus, but not a lot of offensive threats from that outside back position. And so she has given Kelly O'Hara and Taylor Smith, the two outside backs, the license to get forward, which means Andy Sullivan will pop back into that back line as a center back and set play from there.
Ball given away. It's one area of the performance the other night that Jill Ellis wasn't totally happy with, even with the conditions. Just thought that the US needed to keep better care of the ball, and there's France giving it away. Well, let's have a look at the exact quote from Corinne Diacre, the French coach. Look at this. We're very far from the requirements of international level. I'm very angry with the players. Ashamed, unacceptable,
unthinkable. I mean, that is harsh. That's one thing to give it to the players in the locker room. Another entirely to do that as a new coach with the press. I do not think that's a smart tactic in my opinion. I think you do that under wraps and you have a very hard word with them. But mind you, also, they have so many young players on the team, and she's the one who started all those young players.
She's got a fair bit of character and background as a coach, though, and she coached a men's team that got a lot of publicity in the French second division.
They brought 17 players on their roster that are 25 and younger. And she started most of them in that game against England.
I think she was surprised at the quality England produced in that game. The team were really taken to the cleaners. Good ball down the side here, and there's a chance maybe for Morgan if it ever gets there. This time the goalkeeper and her defenders do the job just about. It was a good run down that side by Taylor Smith.
And here's the early product you get from those outside backs. This is an outside right back getting forward in Taylor Smith. And maybe if Morgan could have just tried to cut in front to that near post, she's making a run to try and get him behind. Or Smith needed to see that and play that ball in behind.
Here is the goalkeeper, Sarah Bouhardi, who plays for the top club in France, Olympique Lyon. She saved a penalty in this tournament last year from Germany's Mandy Islacker. That earned a point. That one was a goalless draw. Kept the clean sheet. Well, they're enjoying themselves, and they've got better conditions, I must say. There's even a hint of blue sky, or there was anyway a minute or two ago. And after everything on the weekend here,
those photos, please. The snow.
It was unreal. It's the strangest
we can laugh
journey.
Now. I can laugh now.
Trust you to get the seat on the plane. It must have been the only plane that got in, nearly.
I know. At one point I thought, well, maybe this isn't such a good idea. All planes are canceled and we're running right into it. Into a bomb cyclone. Don't do it. Yeah, don't land in a bomb cyclone. Now I know why they don't.
It's scary stuff, actually. Hope everyone's okay. A lot of power cuts and problems for everybody, so I hope things are getting back to normal for you if you're one of those who were affected, and especially all those people who were stuck in the Pocono Mountains with us. I hope you all got out.
I hope you too discovered your car had four-wheel drive. That's the best part of the story. We looked at our manual and discovered we actually have four-wheel drive. Let's go.
I'm embellishing the story every time I tell it. There are now bears involved and wolves howling at the windows. Same towards Megan Rapinoe. It doesn't get there. It's come out by Mbok. Trying to get Govan to make a run into the channel, which she didn't want to do. Oh, the worst ball really, had that run been made. Who's coming to the side, one of the 8 changes, plays for Montpellier. She won the ball back again as well there. Holding quickly by Govan. Away by Abby Dahlkemper, who also takes the role at the moment as senior player in that defence. Of course, Becky Sauerbrunn not fit for this tournament, neither is Sam Mewis.
Interestingly enough, 3 center back captains are not present from the various teams. Wendy Renard for France, their captain, center back, very tall, excellent players missing. Becky Sauerbrunn from the US, Steph Houghton from England, their center back captain.
Dahl Kemper's ball. She fell a bit awkwardly after that. Mallory Pugh manages to keep it in. 31 caps already for the 19-year-old. Goodness knows how many she's going to end up with. Crossfield ball. Saeed did quite well to keep it in. Cross to the near post. It wasn't the worst piece of work that by Asai. Watching on today, there's the new Supremo of US soccer, taking over from Sonil Galati, Carlos Cordero. Wish him luck during a transitional phase, obviously, for the federation. Some way away yet from appointing a new men's senior coach, and there's no rush, not really, not at the moment anyway. Andy Sullivan's long crossfield ball.
Already 10 minutes in, a much better French team. They were already down a goal to England and doing a lot of chasing in that first game.
Is Tine, she'll definitely improve the side. Gayoro to lay it wide. Here's Majri, the left back. Good player. Couldn't quite get that in behind Dahl Kemper, otherwise Le Sommer might have been in. But this is better already from France than what we saw the other day. A lot better. It couldn't have been worse, in truth. There's Carlos Cordero.
I was going to say, yeah, that did look like Carlos through the glass.
I was thinking he's changed a lot.
Just back from Europe, actually.
Tom King,
doing some bid work for 2026, trying to, of course, bring the World Cup to the United States, and Canada and Mexico together as a joint bid.
He's hoping on that. The biggest crowds ever at the World Cup were when the USA hosted it before in 1994. The event even back then was supported. I can only imagine that that would be amplified a few times. It came back now since the game's grown so much. Is Asai. Now Gayoro and Gauvin taking over. The US, by the way, have failed to score in both of their last 2 games in this stadium. Took a deflection on the way through, and it's gone for the corner kick. Yeah, wasn't quite able to keep that in play.
And really, France dictating a bit of the pace of this right now. US able to get pressure on the ball. We saw in that first game against Germany how much the game changed when they were able to get some pressure on the ball, but unsuccessful so far for the US in cutting down that space.
Majri to take it with her good left foot. Headed down, but in the end, nothing doing. Amandine Henry with the header. There's the US gold medal winning hockey team. And we're going to meet a couple of them at half-time as well.
We are. We're going to talk to Megan Duggan and Hillary Knight. Love seeing them here.
We've already met the players. Megan Rapinoe brought down. Morgan Bryan. Had injury problems in the last year. Kelly O'Hara's attempted cross, charge down. She's carrying a little bit of an injury at the moment, Kelly O'Hara. Nothing that keeps her out the starting lineup, but it's never comfortable, that kind of situation, just having to play through the pain a little bit.
Yeah, she's got her knee brace on. She's had some hamstring issues.
Here's Rapinoe. The US haven't quite slipped into gear so far. Morgan dispossessed by Mbok. You and I were at that France-USA game in France at Lorient, which was a lovely part of the coast, and France had a very good team there and outplayed the US, won the game 2-0 as I recall.
And you thought they were on the verge. You always think that about France, though. They're on the verge. They could win a World Cup. They didn't, of course, win in 2015. Haven't still won a World Cup.
Never got beyond the semis of the World Cup.
And that's always been the thing about France, is they've had, especially in the last 5 years, teams with tremendous players, but just cannot get over the hurdle of a semifinal. Or they go up 2 goals against the U.S. in that opening game in the 2016 Olympics. And U.S. comes back to win 4-2. They just can't hold on to games either.
They've never got beyond the semi of the Olympics either, and never beyond the quarterfinals of the European Championships. So they've had a lot of good players, but basically, when it's come to big tournaments, they've flattered to deceive. Renard's injured for this. Abili's retired. Players like Busalia, Bonpastor, Deli, Tomis, Nassib, not in this squad, so they are in transition. Rapinoe down the side, that's a lovely ball. Morgan's in here, can she finish it? Flag's up, it won't count. Puts the ball in the net, but the goalkeeper had stopped. She knew that flag was up. Goal disallowed.
Another look at it. What a ball this is. Just a hair.
Ooh.
Very close, though. A hair where she's leaning in.
That's very, very close indeed.
Seen that not called as well, but Megan Rapinoe with the perfectly paced bent ball that catches Morgan in stride.
You're offside if any part of your body with which you can play the ball is in an offside position. It was a hair's breadth decision, that one. Here's Majri to pick it up. Well, strength on the side as well, having her in there at left back. MLS presented by Audi, returning today on ESPN and ESPN Deportes, 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 Pacific. LAFC making their debut as they go to Seattle Sounders at the Link. You can watch it all on the ESPN app as well if that works better for you. So it's a pretty big soccer day.
That's going to be fun to see how LAFC does as well. A lot of hype around that team and that club.
Here's Henry for France. Majri to curl one in towards the near post. Gauvin, and very good work to get that ball away as well defensively. Tiana Davidson did some great work to get across there. Had to make that challenge. Good move, though, by the French, who look a different proposition today. Majri again, who's already taking the eye on that side.
And it's just a bit disjointed by the U.S. right now. Flat, giving away too many balls.
Could have done without that offside flag. Years ago, FIFA decreed that the advantage should always go in a tight one to the attacking side, but that's disappeared, frankly, like a lot of other things. Dahlkemper to play it down the side. Now then, Pugh. Play either side, right or left. Morgan Bryan trying to slip one through to Haran. Don't think Jill Ellis will be too happy with the way the US are performing so far in this game. They haven't found the right gear. fixture a year ago, by the way, USA-France, when France won 3-0. It was 2-0 after 10 minutes. So this isn't as bad a start as that one.
That was the 3-back experimentation. It's amazing how different the lineups have been from just a year ago. Only 2 players that carried over from a year ago starting in that first game.
Here's Torrent. Working to the side today at right back instead of Perissé. Trying to play their way out of trouble, and got into trouble doing it as well there. Davidson and Sullivan getting themselves in a bit of a mix, to be honest. Looks good when you can do it, but it needs everybody to be comfortable enough on the ball, particularly if the opposition are playing a quite high press, and France are a little here. Here's Sullivan, formerly top college player in the country. Rapinoe to play it wide to Kelly O'Hara. Bit of space here at Pugh. Might get it back again on the edge of that defence.
And that was the first sequence where they find the opposite side quickly. They get to the weak side. They get Kelly O'Hara in and almost have a little bit of success on that.
Here's O'Hara. Referee did well getting out the way of the path of that ball. Saeed, no way out. Good pressing that. USA all about a high press these days. It's come to Haran, looking to bend one, and she couldn't wrap her foot around the ball, and it's frightened the corner flag half to death, that one.
And that's the first time. How many times did we talk about that in the first game? The first time we've seen the U.S. successful with that press. France has been able to actually get out of it, or the U.S. hasn't been able to put enough players around the ball. But in that situation, Haran able to double down, try and get something out of it. Maybe a little momentum spark and change of pace for the United States, because so far in these first 20, not much in terms of continuity.
Whose ball wasn't the most accurate. Jayoro picked up a knock there in that collision with Dal Kemper and stays down. Looked a painful one.
Here's the tackle there. Right into the knee. You could see them.
Winning her 14th cap today. She's been with Paris Saint-Germain since she was 15 years old. Majri. Stopped by Taylor Smith, getting a run in that right back position. It's only her 10th cap as well. Very quick, used to be a winger. I'm looking at this French defence and thinking there's been a lot of hard work gone on the training ground, even since the last match. And I think they've had the riot act read to them.
Yeah. Given what we saw in the press, can you imagine what was said in private?
Yeah. Well, they led in 4 against Germany, 4 against England. That's not good enough for a country which wants to be right up there among the elite of women's soccer. Kenya is all right again. I was a bit worried. You've seen collisions like that before, and the player's done their knee ligaments. Le Sommer, surely offside. Yeah, she is. ESPN's presentation of US Soccer brought to you by Continental Tire, for what you do.
Look at all the French players, those 2 lines, that midfield, that back line, very condensed, 10 yards apart. They're really playing in about a 20-yard space, and this is what's proving to be successful. They then pick up and can run at that back line.
Tine's not a bad idea, that one. It's got the defence in a bit of a mix. Naya came out and took charge of it, gave the defenders a good shout, which was entirely necessary. Torrent. Whole of this French team playing their pretty good domestic league, so that's not a big shot. Once or twice French players have come over to play in America, like Laura Georges, who's been dropped today. The veteran defender used to play at Boston College Eagles.
Five of these players play with Morgan Bryant.
Yeah, because Morgan Bryant's at Lyon now.
Five of them that are starting as well. Bati, Majri, Henri was in the middle, right against her. Les Sommer, Bouladi.
Sullivan's long ball, it's easy to deal with for Tunkara, who's been brought into the defence. It's only her 5th cap today, the young lady from the capital, Paris. Asai looking to bend one in for Le Sommer. Again, the passing not accurate enough from the US so far. Keoro. If they don't sharpen up that passing, there might be a price to pay as well. Here's Pugh. Then for Rapinoe to chase. Smith, his first touch let her down. Lindsay Oran had 3.5 years with Paris Saint-Germain, didn't she, as well? So she knows the French scene pretty well. Struggling just to make an impact in this game so far.
Quiet. Really, that midfield's been quiet. And part of the challenge, too, is with the U.S. assuming this big shape on offense where they send both outside backs high. Annie Sullivan is constantly dropping into that back line, and you're left with a big gap in the middle of your midfield as she sets play from a deeper position. And it's an aggressive shape, but I'm not sure it's working right now.
Can leave you outnumbered, can't it? A bit further forward. Things don't quite go right. Away by Dial Camper. Tine. It's good work from Kelly O'Hara to snuff out the danger, put out the fire.
And you can see O'Hara pleading with the team to pick it up, angry. But it's just a little flat, and maybe that's a lot to do with, you know, how much they put in to that second half in Columbus in that weather, with that rain and that heavy field. The legs look a little tired.
I've been shaken up by that landing as well.
They're still green as well.
Mind you, France had to get here too. The other teams also had to charter aeroplanes because a lot of the regular services weren't running, of course, all those cancellations with Storm Riley. Majri taken out of it by Taylor Smith.
Maybe it will finally convince U.S. Soccer to do it in southern states. I don't know.
Yeah, well, maybe. Yeah, at this time of year, do anything for a bit of sunshine, won't you? How you live in California.
After Pyeongchang, I can't handle it anymore.
Yeah, you should be used to it by now. Is Amandine Henry, the captain of the side for this tournament. Lots of experience there. Majri comes inside on a rather weaker right foot. It wouldn't drop for Le Sommer and O'Hara. But that's a good header that by Alex Morgan. Very good cushioned header to keep the attack going. Here's Pugh. Good burst of pace. But very well covered indeed there by Tunkara.
And a much, much improved French side all around, from the back line, which looked so disjointed against England, to today, and then on the offensive side, some rhythm. You can tell the experienced players in Tine holding the ball, Les Sommer coming in to connect players, Henri in that number 6 position, wearing the number 6. The result of that is that the US haven't really tested
that goalkeeper yet, barring when Alex Morgan had the ball in the net with the flag already up for offside. It's going to be a yellow card here for that challenge. Asai, I think it was, going into the book. So there'll be a break in the play here. Getting on for half an hour gone. USA 0, France 0, and you'd have to say so far France have edged it.
Asai coming in late and hard there. And a little bit high.
Seems to be okay though. Getting to that period where you want the team to be quite settled for the last year or so going into the World Cup next year. Of course, France will be the hosts of that, so they don't have to play World Cup qualifiers, as the US will have to in the fall. You'd expect that to go okay, but we expected it to go okay with the men's team as well. Haran. Masri didn't get it away. Fowler, Pugh, Morgan, Bryant. Wouldn't quite find Smith. Morgan, lovely ball. Pugh! What a chance, and didn't hit the target. That was the best yet from the US by some distance.
It all started with Masri unable to clear this. She has got to send that high and wide and flick it on. Able to keep it alive, and watch this little ball in by Alex Morgan to find an open Mallory Pugh. That little split ball, what a nice ball that is.
That was the pass of the match so far. Real class that was from Alex Morgan, and Pugh had a lot more space, I think, than she realized.
And a lot more time than she realized, and you got to get that at least to make Bouhadi, the goalkeeper from France, to have to make a save on that.
Maybe a sign there of the US just beginning to find their feet in this game. It is quite a toughish schedule for the players, having to play against high quality opposition. 3 games in, well, it's under a week, isn't it? With the travel as well. Shots so far, USA 3, France 1 on goal. 1-0. See the centre-backs split wide again. Dahlkemper on that side. Sullivan, who drops back from midfield to almost become a third centre-back. And then Tiana Davidson, who's getting the ball now out wide on this side. As you said, I'm not entirely certain it's working, but we'll see.
I mean, the French are playing in such a restricted space that you're finding O'Hara just sitting on that line.
There is O'Hara's got the better there of Torrent. It's a free kick. Kelly O'Hara had got in behind there, so there could have been an advantage there. Torrent's got booked.
Kelly O'Hara is in. That should be played as an advantage. And this time it works out, but O'Hara and Smith on both sides just kind of finding themselves planted there, but O'Hara's in. And she's wondering the same thing. Why aren't you letting me play that through then?
Well, the referees learn as they go along as well. Sometimes I think we just have to cut them a bit more slack. This will be a learning experience for the referee. And it's very important you get the right officials at the big tournaments as well. If you don't, it can be a problem. Plus, this is the era of the VAR as well, isn't it? As well. You can wait.
So much discussion.
Oh yeah. There's going to be teething troubles, but you do want to get the big ones right, don't you? You don't want to drain the drama waiting for those decisions. That debate will go on. Megan Rapinoe is going to take this one for the US. Goes a long way, bouncing around in there. He went off the post as well from Sullivan, and he's into the back of the net. scrambled home by the US. Buhardi got a big touch on that, but the US won't care. They have the lead. Who got that touch amid that scramble? We will try to unravel. They don't care.
It looks like it was Pugh with her arms in the air. In the scrum. A great ball in with pace. A little low, but US does well to still keep it alive. And there it is, Mallory Pugh with the scrappy goal, just getting this one, unlike her last shot, on frame.
Yeah.
Buhardi does well to get an arm on that one.
35th minute, Mallory Pugh scoring again for the US. It's a 9th international goal already, the 19-year-old from Highlands Ranch, Colorado.
And now this will be interesting to see how France reacts given the talking to they had the other night and where their spirit is going to fall.
Looked like Andy Sullivan was about to score in that melee as well before Pugh got in the decisive effort. Kemper to lay it forward, Manjri to cut it out. I think Buhardi, being the good goalkeeper that she generally is, will feel, having got that much on it, she should have kept it out, but that would be a pretty harsh assessment. To Lusomea. Manjri again. O'Hara has important work to do and does it. It's in the right place there, just tucking in from that left back position. Use all her experience. 107th cap for Kelly O'Hara today. Just moved to the new Utah Royals team. It's Morgan Bryant. Out there, Tine picking it up and lining up a shot. She got the goal against England. Govan with a chance to lob. The goalkeeper here. He's hit the bar. Well, that was pretty unlucky from the French point of view. Govan nearly equalising. This game just catching fire a bit. Andy Sullivan. She's #1 on the 2018 draft, picked up by Washington Spirit. It's a powerful presence, doesn't she? 22 years of age. She's had a long period out over the last year with a cruciate injury. Done by Kadej Mbok, and Lusomea getting in behind Dalkembe here. Lusomea, can she get it in? Oh, that's a great goal. That's brilliantly taken by Eugénie Lusomea, who scores so many important goals for France, and her composure there was something to behold.
And this is a typical Lusomea goal. She can slide in behind. Dalkemper gets caught on this one, and look at that move. She has a little bit of an angle, sees that she can get Nair to go down, and then has the composure. And here it is, a simple ball over the top, and Dalkemper caught flat there. Sommer with the nice move. And what a finish that is.
On the occasion of her 150th cap as well. The Lyon star.
Just lost her there on that back line for a second, and so Marinos had to slip in so quickly. And especially with no pressure on the ball, you just cannot afford as a center back to let them get in behind you.
I tell you, that was a good ball, wasn't it, though, from Mbok, the defender. Perfectly weighted to open up the chance. I hope the people who keep extensive stats on all this sort of thing give her an assist for that one.
And what a response by France. They have the one off the crossbar moments before that. And then that nice ball and goal by Le Sommer.
Yeah, I don't think too many players in the World Game would have had the composure to finish that, and it was a pretty tight angle in the end as well. Flipped in behind here for Gaëtan Tiné. Henry. Again, Le Sommer found beautifully. Tried to backheel it into the path of Majri. And just lost her balance at the key moment. Good battle between Majri and Pugh, who's on the ball again now. She seems to glide over the surface, Mallory Pugh, doesn't she? Almost like she's on a cushion of air or something.
She does glide.
It's getting to be a pretty good game now. I think there's going to be a substitution made shortly here. It might be done before half-time as well. It might be Casey Short who's going to come on into the defence. So I don't know if that's tactical or somebody's picked up an injury. We'll find out. It is going to be Casey Short, and it's going to be pretty soon. I understand it's Taylor Smith who'll make way. Just having a look at her, whether she's given a sign to the bench that she's struggling. Here's Mbok, who's good ball, set up the goal. Tunkara to lay it wide. One of the last touches for Taylor Smith by the look of things, and it's quite an uncertain one, and Tiné's in behind here. This has been an impressive response from France since they conceded. Away by Andy Sullivan. Gayoro inside. Tiné.
Gayoro in that holding center mid spot next to Henry has done such a good job of any time there's any counter coming out of Pugh on that right side for the U.S. She's tracking players down for Majri. And what that does is it allows that outside back to then have the confidence to get forward, because you know you have cover when you do so. And Majri, number 7, the left back for France, has been very aggressive on that flank, which is, I think, one of the reasons why you're seeing Casey Short come in here. The success that French team has had on the right side of the United States may be a reason why Jill Ellis wants to make this change.
Well, she doesn't look injured. Going off at some pace here, Taylor Smith. So didn't wait till half-time to do it either. And on comes Casey Short to make way. Looks like Kelly O'Hara had gone to right back. Short going to play at left back. This tournament will conclude on Wednesday on ESPN News, with the US taking on England 7 p.m. Eastern at Orlando City Stadium. First time the US women will have played there. Of course, it's Alex Morgan's home stadium these days. And that is ESPN News, just to underline. Be on the ESPN app as well, if that suits you better. Tunkara to lay it to Le Sommer. Coming up at the half, we'll preview the MLS opener between Seattle and LAFC, coming up at 5 Eastern. Take a look at the She Believes Hero Contest winner, a remarkable young lady, I can tell you. We'll meet Hilary Knight and Megan Duggan from the US gold medal hockey team. And we'll break down the first half action in case you missed any of that as well. 1-1 here in a contest that's becoming increasingly intriguing.
I'm going to get a gold medal around your neck, Ian Dark.
Yeah, that's the only way I ever would.
They're heavy too. They're nice.
Oh, yeah. Just rub it in, why don't you?
No, these are. I had medal envy actually over there. It's like they're 2 point. I did a piece on this. I should know this. 2 point something pounds, maybe 6. Heaviest gold medal ever in the history of the Olympic Games.
Something you can never ever take away.
Filled with chocolate.
I can only imagine. I might get a gold medal for traffic jams in the snow. That's about it. Megan Rapinoe as the US. Look at this gap that the French defend. Look at this line they're keeping here. They put the goalkeeper in charge of a lot of the area. Will they pay for that? Don't often see that.
That is an aggressive line. Look how high that is. That is way too much space, in my opinion, to have to cover. Yes, you want to clear that space for your keeper, but you're asking her to cover that 10 yards in front of her, 15 yards.
I remember Manchester City doing something like that in a Champions League tie a couple of years ago against Monaco. And the free kick was played into the gap, and they headed the goal that decided the tie. France will tell you that one worked because they won that ball. That's half time. Slow start to the game, but then it really picked up. Mallory Pugh, the teenager, putting the US ahead in a goalmouth scramble. Andy Sullivan nearly scored in that melee as well, but France responded pretty efficiently and impressively as well, and Eugénie Le Sommer got an equalizer for them. So at half-time here, the USA, we thought they'd have to work for it a bit harder today, and that's exactly the way it's proving. Should be a very good second half. Don't go away. It's 1-1 at half-time here at Harrison, New Jersey.